Okay. Woo! Leo. Well, Leo, my beautiful brother.
There's romantic, and then there's whatever happened between Lionel Messi and his wife Antella on the Coldplay Kiss Cam in Miami. One moment, they were just another celebrity couple enjoying a concert. The next, they were the face of everything wholesome, real, and relationship goals. As the camera zoomed in, Antella leaned in with relaxed warmth. Messi smiled that calm, steady smile of a man who's truly at peace. And they met in the middle with the kind of connection that doesn't need words. The crowd erupted, phones flashed, and Chris Martin, center stage, paused mid-performance to deliver a line that made everyone cheer. The #1 sports person of all time. It was charming, unexpected, and perfectly timed. But according to insiders, it wasn't just a compliment, it was a counterattack. And the real target, not Messi, not Antella, but someone thousands of miles away and very much under fire. Because just days earlier, Coldplay's Kiss Cam had captured something very different.
You and your wife are looking so fine. Thanks for coming today to see our band play the #1 sports person of all time.
At a show in Boston, the same camera, the same crowd, the same stage, except this time it zoomed in on two people who looked like they'd seen a ghost. Andy Byron, a tech CEO, and Kristen Kitt, his company's HR director, froze as the lens found them. No laughter, no lean in, just panic. Kristen jolted, Andy ducked, and before anyone could say, "Wait, who are they?" the internet had already decided this wasn't romance. It was damage control. Within hours, screenshots were flying, Twitter threads dissected every frame. Reddit detectives tracked job titles, past appearances, and even wedding rings. And when it emerged that both were married, but not to each other, speculation turned into a full-blown digital manhunt. Sources close to the situation say that Coldplay's PR team was blindsided by the Byron Kitt footage. What was meant to be a cute concert gimmick had suddenly become the center of an alleged workplace affair scandal. And Chris Martin? According to insiders, he was furious, not because of the chaos, but because it dragged his show into their mess. But instead of releasing a statement or calling anyone out, reports suggest he did something far more effective. He waited, and then he struck back in the most Coldplay way possible, quietly, kindly, but with surgical precision.
A bunch of businesses are jumping on the trend, and I think that's been the best part of this whole saga. Terrible for them and their families, but great for the memes.
We're just very shy. Now the reaction online is exploding. The man is allegedly the CEO of a tech company, Astronomer, and the woman is reportedly the head of HR.
That messy moment wasn't just a sweet surprise. It was, as one industry source put it, revenge wrapped in applause. Because if Andy and Kristen were the awkward shadows of a relationship gone wrong, Messi and Antella were the sunlight. And Chris Martin knew exactly what he was doing. That night in Miami wasn't just a concert, it was a reset, a statement, a message, sources say, that didn't need a single name to land like a bomb. And by the time Chris delivered that #1 sportsperson line with a smile and a glance, everyone watching knew exactly what he meant. He wasn't praising an athlete, he was reminding the world this is what love is supposed to look like. The difference couldn't have been starker. Just a few days before Messi and Antella became the internet's favorite couple, Andy Byron and Kristen Kitt had turned the exact same moment into a slow-motion car crash. It only took 15 seconds. That's all it took for viewers to go from confused to obsessed.
Service is the equivalent of taking it to a Coldplay concert. Your car will know.
Astronomer says it's launching an investigation into the alleged relationship, saying, quote, "Our leaders are expected to set the standard."
According to multiple reports, audience members at the Boston Coldplay show noticed it instantly. Two executives who didn't act like they were supposed to be sitting together, let alone caught on the Kiss Cam. Kristen flinched. Andy went stiff. And before the next chord hit the speakers, the couple was already being Googled by half the stadium. What they found was shocking. Byron, the married CEO of a billion-dollar tech company called Astronomer, Kristen, his newly appointed HR director, both married, neither to each other, and now neither able to explain what just happened on the Jumbotron in front of 20,000 people. Word is, the fallout began before the concert was even over. Reddit threads popped up within hours. TikTok was flooded with slow-motion replays and amateur lip readers speculating on whispered conversations. Screenshots of Kristen's missing wedding ring went viral. Industry insiders say Coldplay's team was bombarded with press requests and corporate inquiries, not about the music, but about the kiss that never happened. And in the eye of that storm stood Chris Martin, watching as his feel-good concert moment got hijacked by a boardroom soap opera. But insiders claim he didn't panic. He paused, and then he plotted. Because for someone like Chris, who's seen it all, divorces, tabloids, even co-parenting with Gwyneth, this wasn't chaos, it was an opportunity.
HR approved. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know, they've both been punted now, but how do you do that? I mean, when the HR manager says it's okay.
This is what I don't know. Who do you report it to?
According to sources close to Coldplay's management, the moment the Byron Kit story took off, Chris Martin made a decision. If the Kiss Cam was going to be a story, then he was going to rewrite the ending. Instead of canceling the segment or issuing a weak statement, he leaned into it. At the very next show, the Kiss Cam came back. But this time, there was a twist. Chris reportedly began watching the screen himself, calling out couples, singing directly to them, making the Kiss Cam a centerpiece instead of a side note. He weaponized warmth, one music insider told us. He made affection the story, not the scandal. And just like that, the Kiss Cam was reborn, not as an awkward office outing, but as a celebration of real, visible love. Meanwhile, Byron and Kit were spiraling. According to reports, Andy's team immediately began damage control. Social media profiles were locked, company emails were scrubbed, but the internet is faster than any PR department. Every new clip, every new concert, every new Kiss Cam became a reminder of what they tried and failed to hide. Sources say Andy's wife found out about the scandal online. Kristen, meanwhile, was photographed alone outside her mansion in New Hampshire, noticeably ringless. The silence from both of them only fueled speculation. And Chris? He stayed quiet too, but with a smirk. The Miami show was when everything changed. On paper, it was just another stop on Coldplay's tour. But to those who had been tracking the Kiss Cam scandal, it felt like a trap being set. And this time, Chris Martin wasn't pulling punches. Sitting quietly in the VIP section were Lionel Messi and his wife, Antella. The couple no one expected, but everyone instantly recognized. Their presence alone raised eyebrows, but when the camera panned to them and Antella leaned in with that soft, unforced smile while Messi responded with gentle affection, something shifted. The crowd lost it. Online, people didn't just react, they exploded. The clip was everywhere within minutes. And then came the real moment. Chris Martin stepped forward, smiled, and addressed Messi directly. "Leo, my beautiful brother," he said, "you and your wife are looking so fine. Thanks for coming today to see our band play, the #1 sports person of all time." Sources close to Coldplay's inner circle say the shout-out wasn't spontaneous. It was calculated, a precise moment designed not just to celebrate Messi, but to remind the world what the Kiss Cam should look like. According to industry insiders, Chris had grown tired of seeing his shows co-opted by scandals he didn't start. So instead of clapping back, he staged a contrast so striking that it didn't need commentary. The Byron Kit moment had been cringeworthy. This was pure joy. And Chris didn't need to name names. He just held up a mirror, and the reflection said it all. What followed was unlike anything seen on a Coldplay tour before. Kiss Cams became events. Concert-goers waited for them, the way fans wait for the encore. Couples hugged tighter, leaned in faster, and, according to one fan who attended 3 shows in a row, acted like they were auditioning for a Netflix rom-com. And behind all of it was Chris Martin, watching from center stage, delivering songs about love while the crowd did the storytelling for him. Meanwhile, TikTok creators started splicing the Messi Antella clip with the infamous Byron Kit footage, framing it as a cinematic comparison. Real love versus corporate panic. The juxtapositions were brutal. Where Messi glowed, Byron flinched. Where Antella leaned in, Kristen recoiled. The crowd went wild. And once again, Chris Martin didn't have to say a single word. Insiders claim the strategy was working. Andy Byron had hoped the story would fade. Instead, it grew teeth. Whispers of legal threats began to surface. Reports suggest Byron's legal team quietly explored options for emotional distress and professional defamation, citing Coldplay's ongoing references as harmful. But the internet wasn't sympathetic. Twitter erupted with memes, TikTok flooded with parody skits, mock trials, Coldplay courtroom animations, and dramatic reenactments titled "The Case of the Hurt Feelings." Even law students chimed in, laughing off the notion of suing a rock band for having better vibes than your secret office romance. If Andy Byron thought legal threats would quiet the storm, he miscalculated spectacularly. The very idea of suing Coldplay became the punchline of the summer. According to sources familiar with the situation, Byron's legal team had quietly floated the notion of emotional harm, claiming that the continued Kiss Cam comparisons, especially the Messi moment, had damaged his personal reputation. But before any formal paperwork could be filed, the court of public opinion delivered its verdict. And it wasn't just brutal, it was hilarious. Memes flooded Twitter showing Chris Martin serenading a weeping Byron in court. TikTok lit up with skits reenacting a fictional trial, complete with Coldplay songs used as evidence. The title, Byron v. Coldplay, The Hurt Feelings Tour. Industry insiders say the backlash blindsided Byron's team. What was meant to be a legal strategy turned into a viral joke. Every move he made only added fuel to the fire. A simple concert gaffe had morphed into a full-blown PR catastrophe. Coldplay, on the other hand, remained perfectly composed. Chris Martin never once mentioned the scandal publicly. No tweets, no interviews, not even a vague lyric change. He just kept performing. And at each show, the Kiss Cam became sharper, more pointed. Fans reported that Chris would now nod directly at the screen, call out couples by name, and even invite them to share a spotlight. It wasn't subtle anymore. It was theater, and the audience? Obsessed. According to multiple reports, Kristen Kitt had all but disappeared from public life. Her social media accounts were wiped clean. No statements, no denials, just silence. But that silence became her signature. The absence itself spoke volumes. She was last spotted by paparazzi near her gated mansion in New Hampshire, watering plants in athletic wear, and, most notably, without her wedding ring. That photo, sources say, became an instant symbol, not just of the scandal, but of everything left unsaid. It was reposted across Reddit, Twitter, even fashion blogs, not for the outfit, but for what was missing on her hand. Meanwhile, Chris Martin's subtle revenge tour kept rolling. At one show, he reportedly sang "Fix You," while the Kiss Cam panned across 3 different elderly couples holding hands. The crowd sobbed, and yet beneath the sweetness was something razor sharp. Each moment of affection became a reminder. According to one attendee, it was like Chris was showing us what love should look like and what it clearly didn't look like in Boston. The vibe had shifted. This wasn't just a concert anymore. It was narrative warfare. And Chris Martin? He wasn't just the frontman, he was the director, the editor, the quiet narrator of a viral downfall. By the time the dust settled, Andy Byron wasn't just a disgraced executive, he was a meme. What started as a fleeting Kiss Cam moment had turned into a full-scale internet event. Twitter threads labeled him the CEO of cringe. TikTok users reenacted his duck and cover move in parody videos set to Coldplay ballads. Even corporate satire pages joined in, posting mock job listings for HR directors who won't flinch on camera. The humiliation wasn't limited to social media. Insiders claim astronomer Byron's company faced intense internal pressure. Employees reportedly described the office atmosphere as radioactive, and sources close to the board revealed that major clients began asking quiet questions. What kind of leadership panics on camera like that? Meanwhile, Kristen Kitt remained a ghost. No job title, no response, no defense, but sources close to her social circle say she was not taking the public ridicule lightly. Reports suggest she blamed Byron for the fallout, accusing him of freezing instead of owning the moment. Some insiders even allege she considered suing him for reputational harm, though nothing formal materialized. Still, the damage was done. Kristen, once known internally for her empathy-first leadership, became synonymous with awkward body language and disappearing acts. And the kicker? Every time Messi and Antella's footage made the rounds, the algorithm shoved Byron and Kristen's disaster right beside it. The contrast became pop culture canon. As for Chris Martin, he didn't break a sweat. He didn't have to. His strategy of silence, charm, and subtle contrast paid off in full. According to industry observers, Coldplay's Kiss Cam segments became one of the most talked about parts of their tour, even more than the set list. Fans started dressing in matching outfits, hoping to be selected. Some held up signs reading, "Messi me, Chris," or "Kiss Cam, me like you mean it." The movement had shifted. What once was an awkward PR mess was now a celebratory ritual, and Chris was the master of ceremonies. One fan put it best in a viral post. "He never said their names. He didn't have to. He showed us the truth without a single word." The final act in this modern-day PR chess match wasn't written in press releases or legal filings. It was written in applause. Byron's image is shattered. Kristen has vanished. But Chris Martin? He's riding a wave of public goodwill most pop stars can only dream of. And all because he did something most people in Hollywood never even consider. He kept his mouth shut and let the truth speak for itself. His quiet war turned into a public victory, not through confrontation, but through contrast. In a world obsessed with callouts and cancellations, Chris Martin reminded us of something powerful. Sometimes the most devastating takedown is just letting people see who you are when no one thinks you're watching. That's the tea on the Coldplay Kiss Cam scandal. What do you think really happened here? Drop your theories in the comments, smash that like button if this shocked you, and don't forget to subscribe for more celebrity secrets. Click here for another wild Hollywood story you won't believe.